of the world was at long last achieved when both the public and the United Kingdom's government could no longer tolerate the newspaper management's blatant disregard for a grieving family's privacy. Yet the news of the world's long reign of power was largely due to the public's mob-like appetite for the story, no matter how dubiously it had been obtained. This book will not be about these sensationalist stories or tellers. Rather, this book is about the power of stories to heal, to restore, to share a vision, and most of all, to inspire others. This will be the stuff of the stories you will read in the ensuing chapters, and all of them are personal and true. You'll hear about charity entrepreneurs driven by the fact that they could no longer afford the luxury of their ignorance, about citizen diplomats, community activists, and a cast-off politician who saved the world. You will discover the power of alchemy as we enter worlds we would otherwise never know in Copenhagen, Uganda, a suburb of Paris, and a small town in Kentucky. As I share these stories with you, I will encourage you to notice certain elements or shared characteristics that turn them from good to great. And it is these elements that I hope you will start to display in your own storytelling. All we have had from our caveman campfire days until relatively recently, in historical terms, was the oral tradition. The wisdom of the ages has been handed down by the shamans, medicine men, or griots from tribal cultures the world over via folklore, fairy tales, myths, and legends. This is how each generation was psychologically prepared for their future, to be ready, to know that they would not only be able to survive, but thrive amid life's inevitable adversities. It has been said that the industrial age ended after World War II. Then it was superseded by the age of information via the computer, the 1960s boom in Madison Avenue advertising, see the hit television series Mad Men, and television itself. And then with the internet boom of the 1990s, there followed in 2003 the viral explosion of social media. With it, a new deceiving conceit arose, that anything worth knowing is available at our fingertips. This immediacy has, curiously, made people less curious about discovering the world, at least in any depth. Now, with 24/7 news cycles, hours spent tweeting or updating Facebook pages with daily minutiae, and endless reality television shows, the full power of storytelling, its contextual beauty and majestic ability to move us, is on the wane. What this means is that today's children may know the facts, but not the context in which things happen. And as they are no longer being shaped by a storytelling world, they seem to lack the will to dig deeper, preferring to surf in the immediate. I was struck by this recently when a graduate from one of America's most elite schools asked me, "Was John Lennon in that group, don't tell me, Wings?" Or when a student at France's top film program, La Femise, asked me offhandedly, "What was it that Jean-Luc Godard did that was so great?" Or when I overheard a Detroit mother of 3 share a major revelation to her, without irony. She said, "I just found out that George Washington was the father of our country. I always wondered who that was on the quarter." This, despite the fact that every year on the 3rd Monday of February, the U.S. has a national holiday to celebrate President's Day in honor of George Washington and Abraham Lincoln's birthdays. When I was in school, and I dare say for the previous 200 years, on February the 22nd of each year, every school child learned the story of George Washington, that when he was a boy, he freely confessed to his father, "I cannot tell a lie, I chopped down that cherry tree." This story was like the air we breathed. A recent groundbreaking study for children, Do You Know?, created by psychologist Dr. Marshall Duke of Emory University and his colleague Dr. Robin Fivush, has discovered the single best predictor of children's emotional health and happiness: story. Apparently, the more a child knows his family story,